certain simulation, the population of a virus-infected cells colony, sounds like fun, can be modeled using a geometric sequence, where the first day of the simulation is day 1. That's usually the case. The population on day 4 was 8,000, all right, and the population on day 8 was 72,000 virus-infected cells. What was the population of the colony on day 6 based on the simulation? Well, we have ourselves a calculator problem, and if you're wondering, how can I do this problem? There's no geometric sequence thing on my calculator. You're right, there isn't, but there's a little guy called expreg. And if you're like, what's that? That's called exponential regression. And what exponential regression does is gives you an exponential function. And if you're thinking, yeah, okay, great, but it says geometric sequence. Buddy, a geometric sequence is an exponential function. They're the same thing. It's just usually a geometric sequence deals with like a term 1, term 2, term 3. And with exponential regression, you're allowed to use like zeros and stuff like that, negatives. Where that wouldn't really make sense with a geometric sequence. They're still the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to run to our calculator. We're going to plug everything in. We're going to actually plug in 1, 8,000 and 8, 72,000, hit exponential regression, get an equation, and then see what happens when we plug in 6. Let's do it. All right, so if we're going to do any type of regression, exponential, linear, whatever, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to hit stat and then hit edit. Okay, so the 2 points that I had were 4, 8,000 and 8, 72,000. So 4 and 8 are going into my L1, my list 1. And 4 matched up with 8,000, so let's type that in. And 8 matched up with 72,000, so let's type that in. Let's go back to stat. Let's go back to calc. And what we want is exponential regression, which is way down here at 0. Exponential regression. You're going to hit enter a bunch of times. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to use this equation to answer a future equation. So what I want to do is I want to store this so that when I hit y equals, it's going to be there. So you go to store regression equation, go to vars, go to y vars, hit function, hit y sub 1, and what that means is that's the equation that I come up with is going to store it in y sub 1. So we hit calculate, lots of 8s, 1 point whatever. I don't want to have to write that out. I don't want to have to remember that. All I want to do is go to y equals and see that it's there already. So what do I need? I need day 6. So if I want to plug in 6, that's an option, but not a fun one. So now that I have that in y sub 1, why don't I go to second table and go down to 6 where it tells me that it's 24,000. So my answer for day 6 is 24,000, so let's go back and answer it. All right, so our guy was 24,000. 24,000. So, yeah, that's how you do it, exponential regression. The key there, and the easy part there, is that store equation thing, the store reg EQ thing, and hitting vars, going right, enter, enter. That makes life a lot easier. So try to remember that. You're going to be happy you did. Hope this helps.